Hey guys and girls, welcome back to some Grade 8's Attorney. We just figured out that Hosonaga is on this ship. He was tasked with being a bodyguard. We're gonna continue from here. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door. That stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example. I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo, by presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. The book, right? Because he said that there was something hanging from the grate. It has to be the book. Evidence that will give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin. Alright. I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present something to him. Present. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yeah, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator. Is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Osoki-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave the cabin. Move. Alright. Let's see what we can find out. First class passageway. What is that? Like a mouse trap on the floor? What the heck is that? Phew. I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. No, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch. And he looks enormous, even if he's sitting. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here. I suppose, like people in handcuffs. Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks. Well, yeah, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Alright, let's examine stuff out here. Plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. It's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago, the island of Japan. Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. That's a huge book on top of the table there. And there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail on the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san. Even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. A trap for catching mice. Yeah, we have plenty of those back home. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what that's what is called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But, I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks was Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. We got a bell here? What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape. That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing, Naruhodo? You mustn't touch it! But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop. The ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Let's get in there. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. That's a big dude. Oh, Excuse me? We, need to get inside this cabin here. The sailor's eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective. It doesn't look like he's going to let us pass. That's a problem. Okay. Wait, I didn't mean to hit that. Alright, let's talk to him then. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something? You little third-class lady's maid. Wow. Oh, we seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I'm not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman Biff Stroganoff. Phew, the best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganoff, about this first-class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Burya steamship for a very important person. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret. Many important persons. That is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Usogi's currently occupied? Yeah. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes, or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Usogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He's a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right? That is not your business. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. Did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Het? Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything wrong? I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. I could have sworn. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yeah, alright. Bulkhead to second-class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain. Or as in English say, when the pigs fly. Yeah, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. I want to go in. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help us. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. Stand aside! I'm about to break the door down. Sholmes! I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Who are you? A Western gentleman. This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True. This old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you! Now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I'm the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I'm a great detective among great detectives, one who adorns the covers of popular magazines. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid! How could anyone fit in a small trunk? There's a door right there, though. Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk? Don't look at me. Oh. Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, the case is shook. Leave, now! Otherwise, I'll call the steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. What is he doing? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, I'm Mr. Sholmes. What were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting, indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no. Actually, you're spot on. For once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylat, is clearly trying to hide something. Do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when this secret he guards so closely? Would you like to witness it? Yes, please. Well then, what you're about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianese, Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you. Or anyone. That's right. And Mr. Sholmes... I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read... It is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh! You must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. There could be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylat, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What? What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Ugh. Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions. That was a great deduction. Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What an ineffable twaddle. Oh, yes. Times in the adventures of Herlock. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction. This is like a dream. I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylat's face. Looks like somehow both Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could you? How could I possibly know such a thing? You wish to say. Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Old man's identity. So, the dubious-looking Russian Mr. Roylat. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. A revolutionary on the run. Wrongdoing. Topic 2. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a prosperity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside? Yes, by my estimation, a young lady, perhaps. One slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there's another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nicolina Pavlova. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma. Elemensky! Susato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but... These two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Warlock does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear just too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deduction just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. The idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Susada. Just one or two keywords in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry. Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Oh, what the hell? Ah, where are your handcuffs? Huh? How? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. That might get me in trouble, though, later. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Alright. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylat, obviously what catches the eye in the first place. An enormous pair of shears in his hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You're on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Rylat either. Which means I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a keyword here. No. Let's see if it helps. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Rylat. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to cut with those shears. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest to your capable hands. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in the last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Verlet really going to use those enormous shears for? Golden locks? What the? What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. The color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Verlet's head? And how is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Oh yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprised. Something's definitely not right here. Yes! I'm gonna present that. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. This is a lady, isn't it? Disguised. This is the ballerina. Watch. Trying to run away. You're not a man at all. You're a woman. And judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revelation. No, it's the back one. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise. Did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise. Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Shawns. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business, not strictly Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part. The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all. No, that's true. Given that Mr. Verlet is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction. Yeah. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that. Alright, I'll do my best. It's this, right? This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess. You think? She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. I'm glad you noticed this article. Allow me to give you a short summary of this content. Oh, thank you. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer went missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nicolina Pavlova. Why are Russians' names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in a costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but not quite sure. It must be an unbelievable sum. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailing to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Alright. So that's gonna help us here, right? And I can present this. The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Nova Beach Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Nova Beach Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nicolina Pavlova. Wow. Wow, she's pretty. Jeez. She's supposed to be 15? You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean Nicolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. A ballerina on the run. Solved. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taking unawares, people have a prosperity to let eyes stray. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. The traveling case. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside the traveling case. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. What did she glance at? Ah. Yes! She wanted to make sure we didn't see that it was her because that was there. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Ah! I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Nova Beach Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully, taking their precious tiara. I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl's only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. All right, I will tell you everything. There's no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? The case. You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, you are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Careless Kudole betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into it? It's just a wild guess. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. That's true, but still, Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case, and it must be somewhere in the same area. If that's where her gaze was, involuntarily. I agree. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase.
Yes!
I screwed that up. Why would it be a picture on the wall? That was even more stupid than the bookcase, but I thought I'd give it a shot. It's probably a pet, right?
Yes!
Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case, written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabin. Are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its content. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. Is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules. A pet. Possession of a prohibited animal. Elementary, my dear boy. I'm not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nicolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later the same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Borya is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that. From time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What's in the case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside, my only friend in the whole world. Please don't tell anyone if the captain finds out. If you say to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night. Yes, all right. I will tell you. It was certainly something. Yeah, I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. Indeed, it's incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yeah, what? Observe your wrists. My... Ah! Your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? There's still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what's the speckled band. I kind of want to examine her room, though. Don't touch. Hypocrite. Yeah, I know. Alright, well, let's talk to her then. What happened? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet? Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget a challenge competition? Have that striking tiara as well. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. She's gonna sell it. I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship. They have all been kind to me. They let me come on board and they said I could hide in this cabin. So everyone knew. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yeah. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh, well, yeah, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation to what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... The conundrum. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Burya stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So, how is it, pray, that you come to be bored? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here, too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. Yes. Yes, Mr. Showy. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board. According to the rules of passage. Please don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious... Then the burly Russian would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard. Ah. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the natures of young ballerina friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends? I'll remember that. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is closely guarded secret, not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light. Ooh, yeah, this. Miss Pavlova, would you take a look at this? I don't know. I don't know anything. Mr. Naruhodo, you're frightening the poor girl. Oh, sorry. I wasn't trying to. I thought she would be able to read. Well, why would she? We already know what it says. I guess I'll show her this then, right? This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yeah, and he wrote in it last night before he died, something a little unusual. It reads, I can hear a faint whistling sound, and then a few minutes later, what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected. Oh! Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something? Or the whistling sound? No. I don't know anything. Oh. She's lying, man. Knock, knock. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott? Yes, what? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave, now. Oh, no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yeah, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out! The passenger said out, or you want me to throw you out. Looks like we'll have to leave. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway. To be continued. All right. I'm going to end that part off there, guys. On the next part, the investigation continues. And we will keep going. We'll see if we can solve this. I'll see you next time.